Hello again.
Yep.
Hello again. I'm Tripp Rogers. He's the Hall of Famer Mike Scheck. Together we are the Fantasy Sultans. Week number 8 in the NFL. Here we go. And last week the Sultans were together for a Sunday. And what did we do on the Sunday? We had the official commissioner's ring ceremony for the Sultans League. Yes, we both have the commish rings.
Yes,
There
we
you
do.
go.
And you got to respect the commish.
You got to respect. Must respect. Well, it says, if you read it, it says obey
Yep.
and respect. There you
Yep.
go. But I will make a comment. This is like a Super Bowl ring. I don't understand how people can wear these things. I mean, this
Yeah.
is big. This
Yeah.
is big. This is
I
not-
enjoyed it. Your daughter didn't so much. She thought it was gaudy. But you
Hey,
never know. I mean, we could always
respect-
just use it as a
res-
paperweight. Who knows?
respect. It's respect.
It's all about respect. Yep.
The ring represents respect.
Yep.
It represents respect, of which everybody has, because we are the Fantasy Sultans. You're a Hall of Famer, so therefore everybody respects you because you're the Hall of Famer. Week number, as we said, week number 8 in the NFL.
Yeah.
Week 7 had its good points, its bad points, the New York Jets, and the ugly, the New York Jets, the Las Vegas Raiders. Need I go on? Mike, your thoughts on week 7?
It also had several blowouts, and that could be a good or bad thing. Good if you have the player that was on an offense that was rolling, but bad if a player was on the offense who failed to score points. And from London to Cleveland to Kansas City and Tennessee, plenty of games that were pretty much over at halftime. Now, we did our B-Dub ceremony, and we were watching the games on Sunday because the Sultans know how to Sunday.
Oh, yes.
But, we even observed the fact that, man, these games are stinkers, and they were over pretty much by halftime. But week 7, pretty much notable for the return of several players coming back from multiple week absences. Want to talk about Dallas wide receiver CeeDee Lamb. He showed up in a big way coming back from that ankle injury. Also, Carolina's Chuba Hubbard returning to action, and that kind of put the end of all that Uncle Rico talk. Rico. Yeah, but I want to also talk about a couple of winners, too, that we saw. Kansas City wide receiver Rashee Rice, after a six-game suspension, he showed up with 2 scores. We talked about this guy on our Import Exports earlier on in the season. Cleveland's Quinshawn Judkins, he was rolling. Neither rain nor wind nor the Miami Dolphins could stop Judkins. He rushed for 84 yards and 3 touchdowns. Also want to talk about Minnesota wide receiver Jordan Addison. He benefited from the ginger Carson Wentz, 9 catches for 128 yards. And we also got to talk about the biggest losers. And Jaden Daniels was one of them because of injury. He left the game. He did get a touchdown in that game, but he left early with an injury. Also, Miami. I mean, they have gone from bad to worse. And Tua Tagovailoa had struggled the week before, 3 interceptions. Just 100 yards last week against Cleveland, a pick 6. And we talked about Tua. He's one of those players, kind of risk reward. He shows up at times and gives you good numbers. But then again, at other times, or I should say most of the time, he gives you a stinker of a game. So, I'm not so sure I could trust Tua moving forward in fantasy football because, again, it's just one of those players that when it's good, but it don't last long.
Yeah, there's a risk reward with Tua, but
Yeah.
I think the Miami situation, I mean, the only fantasy player who's really doing anything is A-Chain. I mean, the wide receiving core is a disaster. Tua can't get the ball to him. And I just kind of wonder, and we talked about this Sunday, does Mike McDaniel last the season? Their bye comes after they go to Spain. I'll be very curious to see if the situation doesn't turn around, if Mike McDaniel does not make it through the bye week, because that would be a week to change things and change things up for the Miami Dolphins. All right, this week, you need the Sultans more than ever. Mostly because of our insights, which we'll give you. And we're going to give you some good insights, too. But this week, you have 6 teams on bye. Arizona, Las Vegas, nobody cares. because they all stink. Brock Bowers gets another week to heal up. That's the only one I care about that. Seattle, Detroit, Jacksonville, and the Los Angeles Rams are also off. People care about them. So let us move now to import exports. And I will start with an import. The garlic parmesan boneless wings at B-Dub. Import them. Really good.
I
really
just want
good.
to say,
and I got to give credit. I got to
Yep.
give credit because the Hall of Famer is the one who picked them, and they're really good.
Well, we also tried the buffalo chicken dip, and I thought the chips were too salty, so I'm going to export the chips at B-Dubs. Just too salty for me. The dip, all right, but, again, it's all about the chip, and not feeling it.
Remember, the Sultans know how to Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
The Sultans know how to Fantasy Festivus. And the Sultans know how to win football. Although I was 0-7 last week. Or 0-6.
I just want to know.
6.
By the way,
a
Tripp,
goose egg. And we lost to Marie. We lost to Marie. How?
I want to know if the chips are going to make the airing of grievances. That's what I want to know.
Definitely. The chips will be on the airing of grievances. Geno Smith is in the Hall of Fame for the grievances, and Justin Fields is in the Hall of Fame for the airing of grievances. All right, week 8, import exports, and again, everybody, I defy you to not have holes on your roster due to injuries or buys this week. Seriously. So we're going to help you. Hall of Famer's going to go first with our import exports.
I'm going to start in Kansas City with running back Brashard Smith. Now, the rookie out of SMU exploded onto the scene last week, rushing 14 times for 38 yards, 5 catches for 42. He's a fast, shifty running back who adds another element of speed behind wide receivers Xavier Worthy and Rashid Rice. That's a good thing, though, because the Chiefs need another playmaker in that offense. He and Kansas City faced the Washington Commanders Monday night, and they're a team giving up the 15th most fantasy points to opposing teams. Smith will have an opportunity to have another big day, so I say import him. Next, we go to Carolina and talk about the Panthers wide receiver Xavier Legette. Now, Legette has been quiet most of the season, the attention going to rookie Tet McMillan. But there is a number 2 wide receiver in that offense. He had 9 catches for 92 yards and a touchdown, totaling 24 fantasy points against the Jets. He and Andy Dalton had good chemistry last week after Bryce Young left the game with an injury. Young is out this week, could be out for several weeks. We'll have to see about that. But Dalton will start this week, and as long as he's starting, I look for the receiver to get plenty of looks. Going to continue on into the receiver category and talk about Indianapolis Colts wide receiver Alec Pierce. Mr. Pierce is coming off a season-high game. He was targeted 10 times by Daniel Jones. He caught half of them for 98 yards, and it's the 3rd time this season Pierce has surpassed more than 10 fantasy points. They draw a game against Tennessee this week, and the last time they played them, he caught 4 passes for 67. So there's another must-add for your roster. You want a defense? Well, you mentioned the teams that are on bye, Detroit, Jacksonville, and the Los Angeles Rams. Yeah, well, you're going to need a defense because defenses are critical. How about Atlanta's defense? They get Miami this week, and we talked about Miami. I think they're auditioning to be bakers because they're creating more turnovers than a pastry chef. I'm going to give you one more export. That's Kendre Miller in New Orleans. Head coach Kellen Moore acknowledged injury concern behind his knee. Well, he left in the first quarter last week, did not return. And although he didn't elaborate on the injury, it really does sound like to me that the backup running back could be at risk of missing extended time. I think it would be wise to monitor his injury as we head into week number 8. But even if he gets the nod, I just wonder how much the Saints are going to rely on him, being that Alvin Kamara is already seeing a big chunk of the workload in that offense. So I would say at this point, he's an export.
And before I go with my import exports, I do want to mention one of the fun things was I was in New Jersey. So I was actually able to listen to our Sunday with the Sultans show, which is on Fox Sports Radio New Jersey. And it was just fun to listen to it live. And, I mean, the thing of it is, the Hall of Famer is a comedy writer. And just comedy gold. It's gold. It's gold. It's gold, Jerry.
Jerry, gold.
And it was just so funny. And I'm in the car. And even it's like, you don't know when the jokes are coming. I said, no, because I taped it the other day. I can't remember. All right. My import exports, we'll start with an export. This is going to hurt Mike. Export Bryce Young. Young is going to be out multiple weeks at quarterback. I think you have a better option. He hasn't been exactly burning up the doing well.
No.
High ankle sprain takes a while. Just 25th in fantasy points per game. So at this point, I think Bryce Young could be an export. I just don't know if he is going to. If he gets back, I don't know if he's going to help you. And again, you've got to look now. We're halfway through the season. If Young is out, let's say 5 weeks, that takes us to week 13 or week 12. And that's 2 weeks left in the season. I think you have better options at quarterback. Again, that's my opinion. Export Bryce Young. But then again, I've been known to eat my words. Imports. Chicago running back Kyle Mononegi. And if I'm pronouncing his name wrong, I am sorry. If I'm pronouncing it wrong, don't shoot me. I never said I'm an announcer, but I don't. No, I play one on television. I play an announcer on and I stayed at a Holiday Inn Express. Season highs in touches, running back touches, yards, fantasy points. He won't be a weekly RB2, but he's growing into the David Montgomery role, which would return RV3 value most weeks, especially during the bi-mac-apoculation that we're doing right now. It's, there you go, combining words there. He is somebody, he's available in most leagues, I would grab him, especially if you need running backs this week, because, running backs are just few and far between. So the other side of it is that DeAndre Swift is really the guy in Chicago, and but he's the guy I would grab second, and he could have some value as time goes on. All right, another import. I'm going to go with Tez Johnson, wide receiver for the Buccaneers. Now, we know the Buccaneers are hurting. Mike Evans, broken collarbone, probably gone. If he comes back, he'd be there in the fantasy playoffs, but I think he's gone for the season. He may go to IR. Chris Godwin continues to disappoint those who drafted him, who thought, oh, he'll play. He is not. He played, and got injured again. So now they're trying to figure out what they're doing in Tampa Bay. And, the Godwin thing really kind of is bothersome, but yet remember he broke his leg last year, so I'm not gonna dump on the guy. But the other part of this is Tez Johnson was the guy who had 4 catches, 58 yards, and a touchdown, played 74% of the snaps. I think going forward, he's going to be the guy. Now remember, the Bucs have a week 9 bye. So if you pick up Tez Johnson, it could be just a 1-week rental against New Orleans this week. You may need to get rid of them and get somebody else. Jamiri Dyke, wide receiver for the Tennessee Titans. Calvin Ridley sat out week 7 with a hamstring injury that allowed Dyke to step into his role with a 97% route rate, third among, or 67%, I'm sorry, third among Titans receivers. And of course, Ridley's not going to practice this week, probably out week number 8. Dyke's upside has led to the progress of Cam Ward. Look at how Ward did this week. He converted some impressive throws in week 7, including a deep score to Dyke. And the Titans, Ward showed some progress in several areas this week. He'll be inconsistent because he is, a rookie season quarterback, but he's got tough supporting cast. But, new coach, interim coach now, Mike McCoy gets a shot, and you never know. So Dyke would be somebody to grab. And then last but certainly, that's my imports exports. Okay, I duplicated my sheets. So now we're going to do something, and I talked about this last week. The Draft Sharks is a great tool. I mean, there are a number of tools that we use, and again, the more you have, the merrier. And the Draft Sharks do things called fantasy football market buy, sell, hold. You basically take three players, and you either buy, sell, or hold. All right, Mike, I'm going to give you the three players.
Okay.
Emeka Mbuka, for, of course, the Bucks wide receiver. DK Metcalf for Pittsburgh. And Roma Dunze for Chicago. Buy, sell, hold. What say you, Hall of Famer?
Well, you know what? I will buy in on Emeka Egbuka. I think he is a great player in that Tampa Bay offense, so no doubt about it. I'm buying in on him. I would hold probably with DK Metcalf. I would stay with him. I think that Pittsburgh offense is up and down. You got Rodgers. He looks great weeks and then has mediocre weeks again. Last week they played Cincinnati. They were in a shootout, so I would hold with him. And I would probably sell Roma Dunze in Chicago. DJ Moore, that Chicago offense is, and they're surprisingly doing well at four, they had 4 games that they won in a row. I just don't know if there's that fantasy relevance with that Chicago offense when I immediately think about it off the top of my head. I mean, I like some of the players in that offense. DJ Moore's up and down. Same thing with Roma Dunze. So I would probably sell him.
Okay, so the official word, the Emeka Mbuka is a buy, and again, part of it is that Evans is out for the year and he's established himself. Injury, little concerning. Sell DK Metcalf.
Okay.
4 straight games with a touchdown prior to last week, despite only 6 targets per game. Problem is, there's a strong chance that the Steelers will get their number 2 wide receiver, which would further limit DK Metcalf's volume. I think, and that's why they say sell him. Hold on Roma Dunze. Now, Dunze's had back-to-back disappointing games, and I think there are some questions about Chicago quarterback Caleb Williams. And actually, it was funny because our resident Bears expert, who we are going to have on the show, Stephanie Rogers, my daughter, has said the thing that she likes the Bears, but she really, Caleb Williams, she scratched her head and she goes, I don't know. I just don't know. So, and I will take that because she came and she spent time and she knows football with the Sultans, Sunday with the Sultans. We had a good time. It was fun. So that's buy, sell, hold. Some of the ones they did, I'm just going to hit this real quick. Week 2, buy Brian Thomas Jr., sell James Cook, hold A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith. Okay.
Yeah.
Week 5, buy McMillan from your guys, sell Alvin McNamara, hold Jake Ferguson. There you go. Okay.
Yeah.
Each week, we're here to help you win your league and win your games and beat us in the process. Yeah. We want to help you. We're givers. We have the Sunday with the Sultans radio show, which is kind of separate from the podcast, although we do kind of talk about the same things. But that's on foxsportsradionewjersey.com. You can catch us at 11 o'clock on Sunday mornings. Podcast drops on Thursday mornings at 9. We're here to help you. Questions, fantasysultans@gmail.com is our email address. As always, he is the Hall of Famer Mike Scheck. I'm Tripp Rogers. We're here every week to help you. We are the ring-bearing
Yes.
Fantasy Sultans.
And you are not.